Adventure podcast by BidX. I'm your host, Joie Roberts. Today, we have a powerhouse in the world of marketplace management, Will Haire, the co-founder of BidX, which with over 13 years of digital marketing and e-commerce experience, Will has helped countless brands scale on Amazon and Walmart. So that's Amazon and Walmart. He knows all the cutting edge strategies from listing optimization, PPC, and DSP advertising. Will is an expert at unlocking growth in competitive categories like beauty, supplements, pets, and one of my favorites, home and kitchen. So y'all get ready for an insightful discussion packed with strategies to boost your marketplace performance. Will, welcome to the show.
Joey, thanks for having me. I think that's the perfect intro. Let's just cut it there and I'll see you guys next time.
Yep. All right. That's a wrap. Oh, not so fast. You don't get off that easy. Let's jump into what I did mention in the intro, Amazon versus Walmart. And I know that you've worked with both platforms extensively, which is kind of unique. So what are the key differences that sellers should know when trying to choose like Seller Central and Vendor Central with Amazon and like the Walmart marketplace?
Beautiful. Great question. Well, the biggest difference between, I'll start with Amazon and then we'll work in Walmart because Walmart is making some crazy progress in the marketplace world. But in terms of vendor versus seller central, vendor is a 1P program. So essentially it's invite only. If you have the opportunity to go 1P, I definitely recommend it, but there's lots of nuances. But essentially, Amazon does purchase orders for your products. How you know if you're a vendor central seller or if you're looking through competitors in their vendor central, when you look in the buy box, it'll be shipped and sold by Amazon. And there's lots of nuances because Amazon is buying your products at a specific price. They're expecting MAP policy to be enforced. And generally what we see, like in the early days of Amazon, it seems like they were trying to get a lot of vendors on board so that they can distribute in specific categories. What we see now, it tends to be like more towards larger businesses that have a brick and mortar retail presence and that they're operating through Amazon. And for Amazon, it's a sure shot. Like they know they sell, they got brand recognition, so on and so forth. But there's still lots of medium and small size businesses that operate on Vendor Central. And that is super high level. 3P is probably what 80% of sellers are familiar with. And that is your Seller Central experience. That is, you list the product. If you're the brand, you're going to do a little brand registry and you can control the pricing. You can control your promotional strategies and you just have a lot more control over the user experience. So those are the biggest differences between a 3P, a Seller Central, and a 1P Vendor Central. And why not? Let's add in Walmart, throw a little complexity in there. Walmart has the same setup. We primarily work with 3P sellers. So unfortunately, I won't be able to talk much about what 1P looks like on Walmart, but I do know everybody wants to be brick and mortar. Walmart, I think it's like 5,000 stores across the US. That's a lot of real estate. But primarily we help online sellers kind of scale on there. So what is Walmart? It's the .com version. And similar to Amazon, you list the products. There is a lot less features. So you have the A+, or I think they call it enhanced content, on Walmart, but it is it's a paid benefit. And so you have to leverage like a third party, software provider that has a partnership with Walmart. So like Criteo is somebody that a lot of our brands use, but in all transparency, it doesn't move the needle, as much as some of the other features. But outside of that, WFS, Walmart Fulfillment Services, is the equivalent of Prime. They do same day, next day, 2-day shipping and all that other fun stuff. And it's, while it's a smaller platform and it's still geared more towards 1P sellers on there, because obviously if you're in brick and mortar, you want to keep foot traffic coming in so that they keep your products on the shelf. There still is an opportunity for some 3P, but it's nothing compared to the beast that Amazon is.
Yeah, that's true. Amazon's climbing, Walmart is climbing to catch up to Amazon. And this week, we're recording this, right as we're coming into March. there have been some advertising announcements with Walmart. So it seems like they're working hard to get more sellers and make advertising a little bit better.
Oh, hands down. They continue to, they, what we were talking about a little earlier before we started recording, they now have display advertising. It is limited to the Walmart, .com website, but they're cut like anything that they subscribe and save. They now have a creator version of Creator Connections. Like they are, I mean, let's be real. They're hiring Amazon people. They're taking that talent and they're like, hey, this is what worked really well at Amazon. Let's apply it to Walmart. So, you know, what a lot of people take for granted is like Walmart's been around for like 50 years, if not longer. Like, and they've been so forward thinking in terms of how they do business. So they're going to catch up. They're going to roll out some new updates. There's still lots of kinks to iron out. But the advertising platform continues to evolve, and the display is just another tool. A lot of the feedback I have from sellers, some of my pain points is like targeting's not that good. Still can't negate keywords. I'm so glad they got rid of first price auction. So now it's second price, which in the past, if I bid $12 and the next lowest bid was $1, I paid $12. Now I pay $1.01. So it's become a lot easier to manage budgets, but it has been an evolution to say the least.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Walmart will continue to evolve. I sell on Walmart, and after I've been selling on Amazon for, I guess, like 5 years now. And then going into my Walmart back end is just not as nice as Amazon. I'm like, oh, this is just not as fun.
Definitely not. But you know what it reminds me of, because you've been selling on Amazon, it's like taking a step back and being like, I remember how it was. It is a little simpler to some degree, but it's definitely missing a lot of functionality that could go a long way.
Yes, yeah, and just all the features. But it sounds like Walmart is catching up. What I do like about Walmart is what you mentioned, that they have, hundreds of stores. And so they have the infrastructure to hold inventory and ship fast, maybe even faster than Amazon, because they're everywhere.
Everywhere. That's an understatement. They are everywhere. They're certainly not going anywhere. I think the biggest difference is just the consumer profile that's going to shop at a Walmart versus Amazon. Like the way the products are positioned, and like if you think about like who the shopper is, and when we do our profile for like a shopper, we always think like a blue collar type shopper is going to be shopping at Walmart. Somebody who's more price conscious will be considering Walmart. Where we know from the Amazon data, they release reports, they're more affluent. They generally have more discretionary income. So it's no surprise that, the preferences, the look and feel is just going to be a little different.
Yeah. And people just aren't shopping on Walmart.com yet. Like eventually there's just so much more shopping done on Amazon. I sell on Walmart and I forget to go check Walmart.
Let me ask you something, Joey. What percentage of sales is Walmart compared to your Amazon? Because I love to ask this question, and I can share what we experience.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, it's hard because some of the stuff I can sell on Amazon did not get approved to sell on Walmart. So if we're talking just like at an ASIN level, at like a product level, I would say Walmart's like, I don't know, 5-10%, like not even worth like mentioning. But my big sellers on Amazon are in the beauty / supplement, like it's pushing into supplements, and it didn't get approved for Walmart. So I was a little bummed by that. So I launched other products on Walmart that I don't sell on Amazon, or that didn't do well. So products that I don't sell on Amazon that I sell on Walmart are like socks, right? Like fitness socks. Like I'm not going to sell those on Amazon, too competitive, but I can sell them on Walmart.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I mean, 5 to 10%, that is give or take. We see 15 to 20% if it's going good of what your sales are on Amazon, you can do on Walmart. So a lot of times it's like when we work with brands, is the juice worth the squeeze? But there are specific categories that do well. You got to think like the Procter and Gamble's, the Johnson and Johnson's, a lot of those very consumable items, grocery items, like there's going to be a lot more demand there. People are used to shopping there, but the user journey is buy online, pick up in store. So that unfortunately is the reality of Walmart for us 3P sellers.
Yes. Yeah, true. One thing that I try to find on Walmart is things I want to sell on Amazon, but I know are too saturated. So things I'm like, whoa, this is a fun product. I want to sell it, but maybe I get like pool floats. Like I don't know what it is. Like pool floats to me are so fun to sell. They're easy to box up and ship. And I'm like, I want to sell silly pool floats on Walmart because, even though I've been selling for 5 years, it's still like saturated to sell silly pool floats on Amazon. I mean, who knows if it is, but I feel that braver and more confident if I like test it out on Walmart versus Amazon.
I could totally see that, Beta Mar. And from somebody who buys silly pool floats, I'm on board. You send me the listing when you get it up.
Perfect. All right. I'll do that. Hey, it's a good time. I'll get it up right before all the pools open for summer.
That's right.
So let's talk about standing out. We're talking about products, and it kind of leads into like high converting products. And this is Adventure Podcast is all about advertising and Amazon ads. But one thing I like to point out to people when everyone's so focused on their ads is if your conversion rate is not good for your category, for your product, then your ad spend is going to be wasted because you're not converting. So let's talk about what's going on, new, cool, what makes products stand out now that might be a little bit different than in the past.
That's a really great segue. And conversion rates, I mean, you hit it out of the park. When we're looking at advertising accounts and we see that a listing's not performing, the first thing we're going to go to is we're going to go look at the main image in all transparency. Mm-hmm. We may dissect some of the other keywords, but I mean, at the end of the day, your main image is going to be what gets people on your listing. So some of the most important factors that we see when it comes to like merchandising and thinking about this is like, within Amazon's terms of service, because there's lots of nuances, but like, can you differentiate your product compared to all the other products? And like, for the beauty category, a lot of times it's the splotches. You see like the cream or the serum in the background. About 80% of the product is up front. It drives me crazy. I don't like it, but it's different. It differentiates and it creates that. In the supplement category, a lot of times we'll have the supplement. And if it's vanilla, there'll be like some vanilla plant. I believe it's a plant, but the vanilla plant will be like in the corner. You try to do the overlay on top, like 30 days supply. Those tend to be really effective. And we're big proponents of PickFu, just to share like some trade secrets. But like John Espinali is somebody we're affiliated with. He has a really good process of like testing what is working really well through PickFu and then implementing some of your changes that shows up in search first and then going and split testing different variations of that and always working it back to the first results page. And like what we're looking for is behavior change based on some of the tweaks we're making. So a lot of times it's like enlarging the image. It's including some of these secondary. A lot of brands like we work with a maternity brand and they came out with this after pregnancy kit. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but and it's like all the stuff you need to make sure you're taken care of after pregnancy. And like what they originally gave us was the box, and it's like who the hell is gonna buy? They don't even know what's in the box. So like we had to convince them to be like, give me all the items in the box, just spread it out. We'll put it together and make it look nice. So those are just some things to consider.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into selling. I love it. They just give you the box. If I saw a box for after pregnancy, I'm like, I hope there's a nanny in there and a genie that pops out. But the products, I'm sure, are just as good as that when you take a photo. And
I don't know about that, but I'm sure they're pretty good. I'll take a nanny.
Yes. So with the main image, you mentioned it. I use PickFu for sure, and I use PickFu for my labels, and it crushes me when I have my heart set on like a specific label, and all the PickFu is like, that label's the worst. You got to go with this like bright pink thing, and it's got to look like this. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll launch something in pink, which I've done many times. Like like, I'm not a pink girl, but I have pink products everywhere from
Yeah,
Pick Food.
pink sales. I feel ya. I'm always amazed at how off my intuition is. I like to say I'm a flip of a coin because I'm always like, this is going to crush it. It's going to beat all the variations. Then it comes back like you. I'm like, ah, man. All right. I guess we'll roll with what the majority wants, but my feelings are hurt a little bit.
Yes, yeah. And then I like the point you made where you can just take the results from Pick Food, but then you can still A/B test on Amazon. And how often do you recommend sellers do that?
We kind of do it continuously. We start with the top sellers, and generally we don't really leave the top 20% of the catalog. But we run split tests like on a 6-week basis, so it's enough time to gather some data, and then manage your experiments or manage my experiments. One or the other, I don't
Yeah.
remember. But that tends to be the best way. And the main image, we like to test one variable at a time. So like the initial test is like, how do we get more traffic to it? Then the conversion rate testing is like, what can we change on the product detail page that'll improve conversion rates? And I find like a lot of sellers make the mistake of like, I'm going to load my bullets up with as many keywords as humanly possible and not talk about any of the unique selling proposition of the product. And then you end up with like this keyword heavy monstrosity that indexes kind of okay, but it's just like, it's everything to everyone in that category. So a lot of what we do is hold our clients' hands and kind of like, what makes it different? What problems are we specifically addressing? And then based on like your advertising search data, you can get pretty good insights into like how consumers search for your product, what ailments, problems, ingredients are they searching for? And you can bake that. And another tip is like the negative reviews are gold. Find your top 3 competitors. If they're complaining, it's too greasy or whatever, be like, our stuff isn't greasy. Put that in an ad and take it home. But like, those are the types of things, and that will improve conversion rate. It's above the fold. We've done some split testing on A+ content, and we've also tested premium versus regular. Amazon claims there's a huge increase in conversion rates. Like I've seen it with A+ content versus no A+ content. And I've seen like tweaks to messaging, but I haven't seen anything like if you change so much of it or add in these features like the spotlights and stuff that it really moves the needle. So for me, it's like the bullets and your images are going to be what really sells the images. It really sells the products.
Yeah, I hear that. While you're talking, I can hear you telling your clients like, hey, we're selling this to people. We're not selling this just to the algorithm. Like, you can't keyword stuff. I learned to sell on Amazon with keyword stuffing 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So like, I know why we want to do it, but you're right. It shifted so much to be selling with unique selling propositions and ingredients and what problems your product solves. And that all plays into your conversion rate. And then it makes advertising a whole lot easier when you have it all working together.
Yeah, that's it. Advertising's a small piece. Like, being an advertiser professionally, it's like, operations doesn't need advertising, but advertising needs operations. Like at the end of the day, gotta have inventory, gotta have optimized listings, gotta have good content. Because you can drive traffic, but if any one of those pieces are missing, it just gets more expensive. And it's already such an expensive platform to operate on.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You just brought up a good point too on the inventory management. Let's talk about your strategies with pricing, because most sellers, I mean, I can't speak for all sellers, but I know a lot of sellers and myself, we want to jump and freak out when we see our inventory levels get low and then put the price up extremely high and then put it all on sale as soon as the new inventory comes in. And honestly, I would say that's a huge, like not even strategy, tactic that sellers do. And I did that my first several years. I passed $1 million in sales. Still doing that tactic. I'm not kidding.
It still works.
And it did.
Yeah, I'm not
it doesn't. No, it doesn't work because I would be out of inventory. It was terrible. So what is like I want to say more professional. What's a better way to manage pricing, and maybe give us some tips on like the inventory while we're talking about it.
Yeah, so the pricing, so you're right. In terms of like, you can't just crank up your pricing anymore because like you're just losing the buy box that gets suppressed. Like it needs to be incremental. I think like what I've seen is like the most you can raise your price every few days if you wanted to get aggressive is like 10%. But even then, you're going to have issues. And if it's lower somewhere else, you're just going to lose the buy box and then nobody's going to buy your product. But you know, it is a somewhat effective way to like slow down sales velocity. But generally from a pricing perspective, we like to make sure the products are priced at like whatever is going to make sense for the brand, giving us enough margins to be able to advertise and market. So like, for example, we're working with a pet brand right now that is just competing on price. They have great products. The products get great reviews, but this woman just refuses to like have anything other than like the minimum she needs to be able to sell the product and make a little bit of money, which is great. We get a ton of volume, but the issue is like we are completely susceptible to demand and flows and seasonality. So like some months are really great. Some months are down. We always run tacos where she says it needs to be, but we really have trouble pushing it. Like at the end of the day, we are just occupying the bottom of the funnel. And we're not really able to do anything to build a little bit of an audience so that we can maybe get a little more levelness when it comes to our sales, a little more consistency. So that's been a challenge. So like I will work with a lot of premium brands and they're like, hey, you know, we sell $100 and the median price is 20. And it's like, that is okay. Keep your price high. It's just the tactics you go, the marketing tactics and the material you need is going to be a little different. But from like an advertising perspective, if I'm selling a premium product and let's just say it's a queen size mattress and I'm like a Lisa mattress or a Nectar, one of those high end brands, I'm not bidding on queen mattress as a term, but I'm conquesting. I'm going after all my competitors. And then I'm also going to layer in a programmatic strategy where I have a presence for all these people that have shown intent and that they're in market. And like those are better strategies around pricing. Whereas if I'm a volume based seller and I know that I'm going to be able to be competitive at the lower price point or even the medium price point, then I'm going to bid on queen size mattress and I'm going to roll with the punches. But ideally, as you price your product, you're leaving some margins. Assume at least 20% of the sales, monthly sales you're going after is advertising budget on a somewhat mature product.
Okay, that's good advice. So 20% of your sales is advertising per product. I got to go and calculate and see if I'm doing that. All right. Yeah, that's good percentage. Everybody always wants to know what their budget should be. I'm sure they ask you that all the time.
Never. That's the first time.
Right. Never. And then, so that's a good way for leveraging PPC. What do you see? You have such you work with so many different sellers. What ad strategies do you think are underutilized right now that you feel are working well?
What I see is that a lot of sellers are strictly focused on return on ad spend. And a lot of my conversations are educating around mid and upper funnel tactics. Granted, a lot of the brands that we're working with, they have margins and they're looking to build audiences. And so a lot of our conversations are like, what's the value of using something like streaming TV? And how long before we start to see a brand lift leveraging that type of technology? Same thing with programmatic advertising. I think a lot of people, if they will do some DSP advertising, but they'll only do remarketing. And it's like, it's not designed for that. It's basic advertising principles. Like David Ogilvy put this out. It's like, you need to see something at least 20 times before you even notice it, let alone you have that problem you need solved. So a lot of what we're talking about is like, how do I build audiences? And what's nice about the AMC solution is like, we're now able to see the buyer journey and the effectiveness of launching sponsored display campaigns or, layering some type of programmatic solution that's geared towards getting more eyeballs and putting them in the funnel so you continue that exposure to turn those customers, intent, people in market into customers.
Yes, yeah. I find the Amazon Marketing Cloud should help all sellers get the custom audiences they need, just like when we run ads on Facebook, right? It's like I've been running ads on Facebook forever, and I can target different interests. And then it makes my brain think, well, the search results I'm getting shouldn't be the same search results that you get when it's a custom audience. And Amazon has all of our data as shoppers and as sellers. So like, we're lucky that they unlocked it, and they just unlocked it recently, like in November. So if listeners, this is like huge tip that Will's dropping here. If you're not utilizing AMC, get on it, because not a lot of sellers have taken advantage of it yet. And being an early adopter is a way to crush your competition early.
Amen. Preach, Joey. You can say that twice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's such a good point that you brought up with AMC. And of course, yeah, DSP, I think it's great to work with agencies for DSP to reach the goals like you're talking about, to make sure that they're really utilizing the full suite of it to maximize sales and not waste any spend.
Yeah. And to be clear, like, I'm not saying put 100% of your budget. Like, some ratios is like, generally for most accounts we're doing DSP with 80% PPC, 20% DSP. If they want to be aggressive, we might be at like 35%. And if they're super conservative, we'll be at 10%. And if they're super conservative, we're probably guilty of doing just the remarketing and the abandoned cart, like those types of audiences. But, you're really, at the end of the day, as an agency, I'm always tied to performance. So the brands who get it and give us more flexibility, we get to be more aggressive, and those that don't. But we're always looking to grow that top line sales and measuring that journey over time.
Yeah, nurturing for real retargeting. I feel like Google and things off of Amazon, we've been followed around with ads for so many years, like buy these shoes. I'm like, fine, I'll buy the shoes so you stop following me around.
Yeah, brother, man, always watching.
Yes, and that's what I want my product to do. I want my product to haunt people. No, I'm just kidding. It's like, it's like a natural, we're all used to that advertising. And you made the point where, the 20 touch points before you buy. It used to be like 5 touch points. Now you're right. It's like you have to see this product so many times, because let's be honest, it's a competitive marketplace, and people are getting good at marketing, and they have people like you to help them and BidX to run their ads.
Yeah. Hey, man. And we're numb to it. I think you make a good point. It's like but what's nice is like it's customized. Like maybe because I'm in advertising, I don't mind getting ads, because I'm like, hey, I was looking at this product and now this competitor showed me something different. So it may influence my purchasing decision. So like, it's effective. Also, I nerd out on that stuff, so I can't help it.
Yeah. Well, and you also take on challenging products, challenging clients. I mean, you're diving into beauty, supplements, pets, and home and kitchen, but beauty is difficult. Supplements is difficult. So, you get to be like at the front of helping the tougher categories really battle.
Yeah. I love beauty though. It's a fun category. And also like a lot of my workforce is women. So like they were like, bring on more beauty brands. So
more products.
They're fun to work with. Yeah. More products. Plus we usually get samples. I'm actually like 85 years old. I just use lots of moisturizer.
Yes. He looks like the youngest 85-year-old I've ever seen. Yeah. No, you do have great skin. I will say that.
Compliments to my beauty brands.
Yes, good job on the beauty brands. But I do like when people dive in and try tough categories, because I've tried them. I'm not like you though. I sell in beauty and I sell in supplements, and like I don't like them. I want to go back to selling in my outdoor sports. I liked that a bit more.
I don't play that, but beauty's competitive, and honestly, like Amazon's only a piece of it. I'm sure, as you know, like a lot of brand building comes off of Amazon, like influencer marketing, presence on Instagram. We love a platform called Stacked Influence. We use a lot of that for user generated content, and like that, it helps out a lot. But like good beauty founders, like they're mission based and they're drunk with it, and they end up, we just help them move forward. We've worked with some beauty brands that we haven't had as much luck with. So it's, it comes down to the team that you work with.
Yeah, and you're right. It is a heavy influencer market too, which can be an advantage. Platforms like Stack are great, where you can pair up with influencers based on their following. Stack has really good micro influencers.
Yeah.
That you can utilize. I've used Stack. I've had a little bit of success. And I like the TikTok creator place, but I don't know how much luck you've had with the TikTok influencers, but I find that through TikTok, they don't respond.
I always look at it as like herding cats. It's, we've tried to launch our own influencer platform probably 3 times. And every time I'm like, why do I put myself through this? I am totally just using software.
Yeah. And people who use the software, they have good software. Like I would say there's really good pairing software out there. Yes.
It's gotten a lot better. Still hard to use, don't get me wrong. Even Creator Connections, like so many people like free samples. I'm like, let me see you haven't posted in 2 years. You want me to send you a free sample? Why don't you get a little more active and we can talk about it?
Well, that's a good point. Just even like, taking time to go off of the tool and go into just Instagram, TikTok, wherever, and like scroll through their profile and just take a look. Like, is this somebody who would really represent my brand?
Yeah, nailed it. Because your point, I find even the Amazon, like a lot of them are micro, nano influencers, not big follow. Some of them are very hit or miss, and like maybe they got in the program a couple years ago when they were more active. And at the end of the day, if you're going to give away product or you're investing in that program, you want to see a ROAS. You don't want to just give away product. And what we found too, we were a little more liberal, so we gave away more product. And then they would never do the post. And I'm like, you guys are killing me. I got to go tell my brand, like, thanks for giving away 100 products. We got about 8 people who actually do what they say they're going to do. So, yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, tell me about BidX and how you started it.
Oh, yeah, great question. So we started BidX in 2018, and I've always been in the agency space, specifically in advertising. And we actually did retail arbitrage. That was like the gateway. So I used to my wife was part of the couponing crew, so we used to get paid to buy products, and then we would flip them. So we learned the space through reselling, and then through that, I got jobs at marketing agencies. And then we hit a point where, do we want to do our own brand or do we want to be in customer service? And we decided, I decided to go that route. So I got to work at a lot of agencies. And what was exciting about agency life is like, I got to work with so many varieties of different brands, so many different personalities and entrepreneurial stories, which is like super inspiring, especially like the people who like, they just stumble upon it. They're just passionate about something and they're like, we're millionaires now. It's like, we never thought this for ourselves. And it's like, I love that. And, and then, you know what I'm talking about. And then like, then we just started, like any entrepreneur, I was like, I think I can do this better myself. And I've learned a lot about running an agency and managing people, but I've enjoyed the journey and we've been really blessed. We're $500 million in sales. I've worked with some really large, multinational brands. So I've been really blessed to be in this space and I like it. I like the people and I like the challenges. And I have ADD and things keep changing. So like I could chase the shiny objects all day.
Yeah, it is a great place for ADD, this Amazon marketplace. I think we all have it. We've all got it somewhere in us. Awesome. Well, if any of the listeners want to get in touch with you, what's a good way for them to find you and BidX?
Yeah, bellavix.com, V as in Victoria, IX.com. And check me out on LinkedIn, Will Haire, like on your head with an E. And I put out content all the time. I try to add value. We got a newsletter that is pretty popular. And if you ever have any questions, that's the best way to get a hold of me.
Awesome. I'll also put that contact info in the notes. Well, Will, it was such a pleasure to have this conversation with you. I feel like we could just chit chat about Amazon all day long. So maybe we'll have to do it again.
I think so. Joey, thanks for having me. It's been a blast.